Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about, so sort of set the scene and describe the plot and who your character is in the film.
Sure. So I play Lucas, who's married to Violet, played by Sophie Cargman. And when you meet this couple at the very beginning, you see them trying to see if they can salvage their marriage. There's an incident that gets revealed in the first few minutes, which is while Lucas was away on a work trip, Violet, who was pregnant, aborts her child without letting Lucas know. And this creates some obvious tension and a rift within the relationship, and you're just seeing two people fighting hard to see if it's worth salvaging the relationship and if it's possible.
Yeah, so there's a lot of emotional tension between your characters. His sort of psychological state goes in a couple different directions. How did you prepare to get into that sort of mind state for shooting it?
Yeah, we had the advantage of a lot of rehearsal time. So Sean's a dear friend of mine. I had worked with him. He cast me in his very first feature film that he directed about 10, 11 years ago. And so I had a bit of a shorthand with him from that experience. And then he ended up directing me in 4 plays after that film. And so we were very familiar working together. And then Sophie is a friend from acting class who I had worked with in class a bunch, and we wanted to work together on something. And so that, coupled with the fact that we rehearsed for about 4 months every single week prior to filming, it made it a lot easier because, like you said, it's, as you're going from scene to scene, like what's happening for my character psychologically, it's constantly shifting back and forth of whether he can believe what he's seeing, if he can't believe. And so through rehearsal and through my shorthand, I could go page by page with, Sophie and Sean, and just kind of like detailing exactly what he's confused about at each moment, what he's questioning as the character. And so all that stuff really helped the performance.
Now you also get to work with Billy Zane in the movie.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your interaction with him, both on screen and off screen, and what he was like to work with.
So he was extremely generous. He did not have to give us any rehearsal days. That wasn't contractual at all, but he certainly volunteered it and was really invested in understanding who his character was, how his character fit into the rest of the piece. All of his scenes are basically just with me the whole time. And so he wasn't really involved in a lot of the stuff that happens in the house because, I meet him in his office. And so he really wanted to get kind of more context and understand like what's happening inside the house between me and Violet's character, and kind of see how that would inform his performance and his character. So we did that through rehearsal and a lot of the conversations we had. And then he was just really fun to work with too. Like in rehearsal and during breaks, he had all these stories that he would tell us of films that I'm sure you're a fan of, and I was a fan of growing up for sure. And on the day, he was just a total professional. We gave him a lot of dialogue that he had to work with, and he just did such a great job. And it was a real great milestone, honestly, for me in my career, just him being someone that I, whose work I was watching before I even had an idea or thought of wanting to be an actor myself. So just a real treat all around.
So do you have a favorite scene in the film, having been through the whole experience now?
Honestly, a lot of there's some really cool kind of action sequences for sure. But honestly, some of my favorite stuff was just like sitting at a table and talking and the kind of those scenes, just because like the actors we had were so great. Like Sophie's infinitely talented. And so just getting to play with her on a lot of those one-on-one scenes were great. And then, my scenes with Lindsay and Susan, both of those guys are just such pros and have worked with some really talented people and are extremely talented in their own right. And so just getting to just bounce off of them creatively was really such a joy. There's a dinner scene towards the end of the film where all 4 of us are at a table and things get, the tension slowly increases throughout the course of that scene. And just playing with that and the minutia of that, of like when we raise the stakes and when things get awkward was just a tremendous amount of fun. And Sean had a lot of fun directing that too. So.